I have 5 rollouts and 5 shades rolling over. This is my July update for my Eyeshadow Roulette project pan. I started this with some friends and some other people have joined in. So anybody that I know that is doing this will be listed in the description box below. The gist is you have 10 randomly chosen single shadows. You use them 5 times, you roll them out. You randomly roll something back in. Hi, I'm Andi and I'm really happy that you're here. All right, guys, this is our color story from last month. As I said last month, to me, automatically looked like Christmas. And so then I said Christmas in July. So how did I do? Well, I think I did pretty well. 5 rollouts, like I said in the intro, 5 rollouts, and some of the rollouts are very exciting to me. So I'm gonna just start from the first shade, and this is the shade Cake Bomb, and this is by Divina. And it is so freaking pretty. You can see it is more of a topper, and oh, I just love it. This shade was brought in May, and I only had 1 use. Since the last update, I have 4 uses. That is a total of 5 uses. This is rolling out. The next shade was brought in last update, and this is the shade Autumn Breeze, and this is by Makeup Geek. I do not have any use on this. I think this is the only shade that I don't have any use on. This is a shimmer. I think it's more of a satin, but it is a really pretty teal shade. But I had other teals that I was working on in a different project, so this one did not get any love, but hopefully I will remedy that in the upcoming month. Next up, also brought in last month, this is a Give Me Glow shade called Wine O'Clock. Very excited when this rolled in last month. Such a beautiful shade. These two together, that's kind of what made me think of Christmas in July. Because when I think of winter and Christmas, I also think of blues and icy whites. So this whole color story to me, that looked like Christmas. But this is Wine O'Clock. Love the shade. Used it all 5 times. So this is also rolling out. The next shade was brought in May, and this is the shade Grunge Lavender. And I had 0 uses on this as of the last update because it was very similar to the shade Pandora from Divina that I had brought in, and I concentrated on that. So this was my month to concentrate on this shade. I love their matte formula. I love their shimmer formula. Everybody knows their shimmer formula is amazing, but their mattes are also really great. And I have all 5 uses on this. This is a little darker than what it looks like in the pan. It is a very grungy shade, but it was a really good transition / crease shade, a little bit more toward the outer corner shade. So this got its 5 uses and it is rolling out. Next up, also brought in last month. This is a ColourPop shade and this is OMG. And this is from the Orchid You Not palette. And it is a red shimmer and it is really pretty. Now I only have 2 uses on this. I did use it with the Wine O'Clock, but one of the other shades I also used with the Wine O'Clock, and this, the 2 shades together didn't look that great. So that has, what I say, 2 uses. So it has 3 more uses to go before I can roll it out. Next up, a scary shade. This is the shade Monsoon. This was brought in last month as well, right? Yes, this was brought in last month as well. And blues scare me. You know that. You know blues scare me. But this is a great blue. This is from the Lush Life palette. And it is so pigmented. And this is one of the older shades in my collection. Still performs beautifully. I used this twice. I do not have a photo for this. You're seeing the photos coming up of the looks that I did with these things. This does not have a photo. Want to know why? This was part of a July 4th look that I did. Actually, 2 July 4th looks that I did. I did my makeup. It was not what I wanted. I thought it looked hideous. I took my makeup off. I tried again, used 2, and still was not happy with it. Now, you saw one of the looks that I used Cake Bomb. I wish I would have thought about that for a July 4th look because I thought that was a great July 4th look, even though it was after July 4th when I did it. My goal was Cotton Candy Skies. And then when I was done, I'm like, why didn't I do this for July 4th? Because it was a great July 4th look, but not on July 4th. So this has 2 uses. I have 3 uses to go before it can roll out. Next up is another Give Me Glow shade. This is Hex My Ex. And I love this shade. This shade has been very, very well loved. I only have 2 uses on this, surprisingly, because I loved using it with the wine o'clock, but the wine o'clock and the OMG didn't go well together. So I concentrated on both of them, but with the wine o'clock. And it is a beautiful shade. I said this in the last update. I'm not entirely sure that this is Hex My Ex. When I got it, it was like a free shade that they gave me, and it did not have a sticker on the back. After going through their site, that's the one to me that it looked like. Technically, it could be something else, but to me, looking at the swatches, looking at the photos on the site, it's Hex My Ex. Anyway, that has 3 more uses as well before it can roll out. Next up, from Clionadh, the shade Rosette. Beautiful shade, love it. Let's see, this was brought in April. I had 2 uses in April. I had 1 use in May, and I had 2 uses in June. Look at that. Do you see the shift on that? And so this is rolling out. That's my 5 uses. I'm so excited that this is rolling out. Not that I don't love using it, because I do, but it's just not a shade that I gravitate toward. One of the things I absolutely love about this project, because it makes me use shades that I don't gravitate toward, and I get to rediscover them and see how beautiful they are. So that is rolling out. Next up, from Divina, this is the shade Silent Blizzard. This was also brought in May, and it is again a topper. It has this beautiful, like, part of the shift is like a gold shade, but then there's also like an icy blue shift to it. So yeah, really pretty. I said this was brought in May. It had 1 use in May. Since the last update, it has had 2 uses. So I have 2 more uses to go, and then this can roll out. Finally, the last shade in this project is the shade Smokin', and this is from ColourPop, and this was in the Blowin' Smoke palette. It is a grungy, like, pewter shade, and so 5 uses, this is rolling out. I was kind of surprised that in the dead of summer, I'm using a shade this grungy, but it's so pretty, and it was great to deepen up that outer corner on top of the matte that I used. So this was our color story. We have 5 rollouts. I didn't put these over here. We have 5 rollouts. This is what we're looking like now. So let's bring out the wheel. I did go into my wheel and see what shades were in my 50 Shades of Blue. I took those out, finally. I also took out anything that I had in a project. And I had several shades that I had not put in from depotting some things. So I'm going to shuffle them. We're going to the wheel, and we're going to choose our 5 shades. So shade number 1, Divina Taffy Bomb. That is also a topper, I believe, and I think it's more of like a, kind of like a neutral topper, but I could be wrong. Next shade, shade number 2, is going to be Sydney Grace Frosted Kingdom. Beautiful. I think it might be a frosty blue, which might go really well with the monsoon shade. But again, I could be wrong. I believe that that was in my last Sydney Grace order, which was probably almost a year ago. Shade number 3, Sydney Grace Golden Rose. That is gorgeous. That I think will go really well with the Hex My Ex. Although it might be a little bit more warm toned. Maybe not. Maybe not. But it might go good with the OMG. Maybe. Shade number 4, Natasha Denona Kai. That is one of the shades that I depotted. I had several of it's not their mini palettes. It's the 5 pans that they came out with, the large square pans. They were like in boxy charms and stuff like that. I was given a few of those and I depotted them into a Z palette. However, I have no idea what it looks like. Fifth and final shade. Give us something good. Sydney Grace Rose Petals. A lot of Sydney Grace in this time. All right, let's remove that and we're gonna save. I don't know why this is because I do save to my cloud when I use the Wheel of Names, and it is a Google extension. I believe it's a Google extension because you sign in with your Google account, and I always sign in with the same account. It wasn't saving on this. Like when I would be on my desktop computer or my laptop or whatever, and I would put in new things, or that's what happened when I took out all of those shades, the shades from my 50 Shades. I was doing it on, I believe I was doing it on my laptop. And yeah, like it didn't save. It didn't transfer over. So I don't know if each device has its own wheel, but all of my wheels are there when I open it up. I don't know. Technology, you guys. I hate technology. I really hate technology. I'm gonna grab those shades. We'll come back, we'll discuss. Don't go anywhere. Okay, you guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. The first shade, which was supposed to be Taffy Bomb, is not Taffy Bomb because I did declutter that to a friend. I had 3 or 4 that had the same type of shift to them, and I realized I didn't need them all. So I sent them to a really good friend of mine. So I re-rolled. Let me move it over so you can see it. This is the photo. And it is the shade Voila, and this is also Sydney Grace. This is very Sydney Grace heavy this time, and I'm not mad at it. I love Sydney Grace shadows. So this is Voila. It is a brown, just a regular brown. Oh, let me wipe that off. I swatched some eyeliner earlier. So it is a very nice brown. It is a rosy brown, which I love, and that is what that looks like. Voila is a little bit of an inside joke between Leanna and I, because we each did a couple of orders from Sydney Grace, and we received this as a free shade, each of us, both times. So they must have had a lot of them because both of my orders had this as a free shade. Both of Leanna's orders had this as a free shade. So that was kind of funny. I ended up putting the other one in a giveaway that I did. So that is going to be really great to use. I love that shade. The next one is Frosted Kingdom, also Sydney Grace. And this does not look anything like what I thought it would. I thought it was like an icy blue. It isn't. It's really similar to the Smokin' that just got rolled out. And that is what that looks like. So I will enjoy using that. That'll be a great shade to use with some of these other shades. It will look really great with that shade. The next shade is Golden Rose, and it is more of a pink. I don't know how these two will work together. There is definitely a shift to this. Like when I look at it head on, it looks more of a reddy pink, but then when I look at it from the side, it's a little bit of a lighter pink. But it's very pretty, and I know that it will go really well with something else that was brought in. But you can see that beautiful pink shade. Plus, I have a couple of palettes in a No Pan Left Behind that will also work really well with. Next up from Natasha Denona, this is the shade Kai, and this was in the Coral palette, the Natasha Denona Coral, and it is a beautiful shade. That is what that looks like. Beautiful Natasha Denona shimmer. I think it will go really well with the Voila as well. I don't think it'll go with the pinks very well because it is a more of a coral shade, but you know, warm eyeshadow. But I think it will go really well with some of the palettes that I had pulled for summer. And then finally, we have the shade Rose Petals from Sydney Grace as well. It is a matte. So I think this and the, what was it called? Golden Rose will go so well together. And that is what that looks like. It is a very cool toned pink shade, pinky mauve shade. Beautiful. I would be really surprised if that didn't roll out on the next update. I'm going to swatch the rest of our color story and we're going to discuss. Okay, this is the rest of our color story. I thought it was very interesting that this is the OMG and this is the Golden Rose. And I think those look really pretty together. They're very similar, but I think they will create a really pretty gradient on the lid. And also I think that Silent Blizzard, where's that? Silent Blizzard will go really well with the Kai, the coral shade. So I do love this color story. This is beautiful color story. And I'm stoked, you guys. I am stoked to get some use on the, also the Autumn Breeze with any of these rose tones or the Kai. There are so many things that work together with this color story. That's what I'm really trying to say. There's so many shades that work together in this color story, and I'm really, really happy. Yeah, that's really pretty. This is a win. This is definitely a win. After some trying months, I think we got a big winner. This color story is going to be so much fun to use. That has not always been the case in past months, but I'm really excited. We post on the last Tuesday of every month. You guys join us. I love this project so much, and I'm always really excited when people come on board. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.